Most men who keep getting rejected have no idea it's already happening before they say a single word. And the part that's going to bother you is that the specific things getting you filtered out have nothing to do with your looks, your height, or your income. They're quieter than that. And if nobody's ever pointed them out to you, you've been walking into every interaction already losing. This video is about the real reasons women quietly put a man in the no category and keep him there. Not the surface stuff you've already heard 100 times. We're going deeper than that. And I'll tell you right now, the last thing I'm going to cover is the one that almost nobody sees in themselves. And it's probably the one doing the most damage. So stay with me on this. Here's what most advice gets wrong. It tells you to say better things, better openers, better compliments, better texts. But the words are almost the last thing being evaluated. What's being read first is everything underneath the words, and most men have zero awareness of what they're broadcasting. Let me walk you through what's actually happening. The first thing getting you filtered out is your body, specifically what it's doing when you're not paying attention. Open posture nearly doubled the odds of attraction in speed dating research because taking up space signals both confidence and a willingness to connect. And the inverse is just as true. When a man hunches, crosses his arms, or pulls himself inward in a group setting, that registers as low status before a single word leaves his mouth. Women often calibrate where a man sits in the social hierarchy by watching how he holds himself around other people, not just one-on-one. So if you're the guy who shrinks a little when you walk into a room, who pulls his shoulders in when someone else is talking, who goes quiet and closed off in a crowd, that's what's being seen. And it's being processed subconsciously and instantly. The fix here isn't to perform confidence, it's to stop actively performing insecurity. Slow your movements down, let your shoulders sit back and down naturally. Take up the space you're actually in. Body language is something you can improve with awareness and small adjustments. It doesn't require a personality transplant. It just requires you to stop defaulting to the posture of someone who's apologizing for being in the room. Now here's where it gets more specific, and this is the part most men completely skip over. You can fix your posture and still be getting quietly filtered out because of micro-grooming blind spots. Men spend hours at the gym optimizing for muscle mass and physique, and then walk right past the things that actually get scanned first up close. Eyebrow shape, nostril hair, ear hair, skin texture, nail condition. These details get noticed before your chest does, before your arms do. And the absence of attention to them reads as a man who doesn't pay attention to himself, which translates directly into a man who probably won't pay attention to much else either. It sounds harsh, but it's the reality of how first impressions work at close range. So if your grooming routine stops at a haircut and deodorant, you're leaving a lot on the table. The details matter more than the big picture when someone's standing 2 feet away from you. Now we're getting into the stuff that's harder to see. Because the next thing working against you isn't physical at all. It's how you sound. Rising intonation at sentence ends, making statements sound like questions, undercuts perceived authority. Even if the content is expert and accurate, that upward terminal inflection sends a social signal of uncertainty that listeners pick up on automatically. So when you say, "I was thinking we could grab food," with your voice going up at the end, you've just turned a suggestion into a request for permission. It reads as a man who isn't sure of his own ideas, and that uncertainty, even when it's just a vocal habit, registers as low conviction. Speaking pace compounds this. A slower, deliberate delivery reads as thoughtfulness and confidence. A rapid-fire pace often signals anxiety, even when it doesn't feel that way to the speaker. So the combination of upward inflection and a rushed delivery, which is incredibly common in men who are nervous, creates a vocal profile that undermines everything else you're trying to do. You can be saying the right things and still be getting a no because of how those things are landing. The fix is to end your statements like statements. Let your voice drop at the end of a sentence, not rise. Slow down slightly, especially when you feel the urge to speed up. A measured pause before answering reads as confidence. An uneven, stumbling rhythm reads as uncertainty. Practice this in low-stakes conversations first, because by the time you're in a high-stakes interaction, the habit either is or isn't there. And this connects directly to something called incongruence leakage, which is where it starts to get really uncomfortable. A man can say all the right words while his body is stiff, guarded, or hesitant, and that mismatch between verbal confidence and physical tension gets picked up instantly and subconsciously as untrustworthy. She can't always articulate why she feels off about it. She just does. The words say one thing, the body says another, and the body always wins that argument. This is why scripted lines and rehearsed openers often don't work. The delivery betrays the script. The solution isn't a better script. It's getting your actual internal state to a place where the words and the body are saying the same thing. That's a longer process, but it's the only one that actually holds up. Now, remember that last thing I mentioned at the start, the one almost nobody sees in themselves? We're getting close to it. But first, there's something else worth covering because it quietly destroys more potential than almost anything else. The orbiter trap. This is the man who makes himself endlessly available. No competing priorities, no real life pulling him in other directions. Always there, always free, always ready to respond. And the logic seems fine, right? You're being consistent. You're showing up. But what's actually being communicated is that your time has no value because nothing else is competing for it. Scarcity of attention is a real signal of value, and its total absence triggers a subconscious devaluation. It's not about playing games. It's about actually having a life that matters to you so that your presence means something. The same thing plays out in texting. Multiple messages before a reply, anxious follow-ups, double texts that are trying to recover a conversation that's already drifted. Each one of those, regardless of how well-written or charming the message actually is, creates a subconscious read of low value and neediness. The rhythm of how you text communicates something about your status, independent of what you're actually saying. So if you're over-indexing on the text thread, pull back, let your actual life fill that space instead. And then there's decision offloading, which is closely related. Constantly asking, "What do you want to do?" or defaulting to, "I'm fine with anything," isn't being agreeable. It's being read as a man with no direction. And direction, the sense that a man knows what he wants and is moving toward it, is one of the oldest and most deeply wired signals of value there is. It maps onto leadership, onto capability, onto the question of whether this person is someone worth following or someone who needs to be managed. So make decisions, have preferences, suggest things with conviction. Even if she pushes back, that's fine. A man who has a point of view and can hold it calmly is far more attractive than one who has no point of view at all. All right. Now here's the one I said almost nobody sees in themselves. The premature fixer reflex. When a woman vents, the instinct for most men is to immediately start solving. She mentions a problem at work, and within seconds you're in fix-it mode. Suggestions, solutions, a logical breakdown of what she should do, and the intention is good. The execution is the problem, because jumping to solve the moment someone vents isn't actually helpfulness. It reads as anxious approval seeking. It signals that you need her to feel better so that you can feel okay. And that need, that quiet dependence on her emotional state, is the opposite of the groundedness that actually creates attraction. When she opens up about a bad day or a vulnerable moment, she's often not seeking advice. She's measuring empathy. Women share small emotional trial balloons before deciding if they can trust someone deeper. Responding with validation rather than quick fixes communicates strength. So just listen, let it land, reflect it back. That sounds genuinely frustrating. And then stop. The strength is in the stillness, not the solution. Emotional containment, not control, is what builds safety. And safety, built on top of attraction, is what actually keeps someone around. Now, everything I've covered in this video, the posture, the grooming details, the vocal patterns, the orbiter behavior, the decision offloading, the fixer reflex, these are all fixable. None of them require you to become a different person. They require you to become a more self-aware version of the one you already are. And that's a process, not a switch. If you want to go deeper on actually working through these specifically, I've put together the next step in the description below. Check it out, it's worth your time. Here's where we land. At the start of this video, you probably thought rejection was about what you were saying. Now you know it's mostly about what you're broadcasting before you open your mouth, and then how you hold yourself, how you sound, how available you make yourself, how you handle the small moments that actually reveal who you are. The man who gets this right isn't performing. He's just genuinely built something worth paying attention to. Men who are genuinely comfortable with rejection are, paradoxically, the men who are rejected least often, because that comfort comes from a real internal foundation, not from trying to manage outcomes. That's the actual work, and the video in the description is where it starts.